I'm going to show you how we fit a rug correctly, because it's vital that we make sure that we keep the horse's comfort at the forefront of our decision making. Now we'll start here with our chest strap, making sure we've got our chest strap done up correctly. We want to make sure that our seam, so where the rug meets the neck rug, or if you've just got a rug with no neck combo on it, we want to make sure this sits above their shoulder and at the top of their wither. So I'll just undo this and put this right to the last hole, and I'm going to pull it back so it's going to sit in the wrong spot. I might just undo this so that way we've got a little bit of a clearer view of it. Okay, so you can see this is her shoulder, the point of her shoulder here, and this is sitting below it. This is going to cause a lot of rubbing. So every time she takes a step, this seam's going to be rubbing really hard on her shoulder, causing big rub marks and discomfort. The same thing's going to happen here. So the top of her wither's up here. This is now sitting behind that. So as she walks, this is going to move like that. And that's going to dig in at the back of her wither and cause a big rub mark, and possibly eventually cause a bit of a sore to occur. So we want to make sure that with our rugs, we've got the seam up and above her shoulder, her point of her shoulder. Oh, I'm all tongue-tied. And that this seam is sitting on top of her wither. So that way, as she moves, this seam is not causing any discomfort to her. So next, with our neck rug, we want to make sure that it's not done up too tight. Because obviously, as the horse places their head down to graze and eat, if this is tight, it's going to cause obviously pressure upon their neck, and we don't want that. And it can also rub their mane out. Again, something that we don't want. So the best way to test that is do it up to where you think it's comfortable, and then you can grab a handful of feed or hay or anything, and you place it down on the ground, and then you watch the horse place its head down, and then you can check to see whether the tightness of your neck rug is correct or not. Next, we come to our surcingles, belly straps, whatever you'd like to call them. Now, it's important to make sure that these are not too tight and they're not too loose. If they're too tight, obviously they're going to cause discomfort to the horse. If they're too loose, what can happen is if the horse lies down, they can get their legs through them, their hind legs through them. And then as they stand up, they're going to be stuck, they're going to rip the rug, and there's a possibility of them hurting themselves. So we want to avoid that by making sure that they're not too tight but not too loose. So I like to have them just so they're just hanging down a little bit. That way, as the horse moves, it's not going to cause any discomfort to them, and that they're not hanging right down here where she can get her legs up, caught up into them. Now, lastly, we've got our leg straps. So I've already shown you how to keep the buckles facing out and how to cross them. Now, to make sure that they're not too tight, we have to be able to look behind the horse. So I'll just tuck this tail flap up and out of the way so that I can move her tail and we can see the leg straps. So we can see them down here, they're crossed over. Now we want to make sure that these are not too tight. So if these were too tight, this is what they'd look like. Okay, and then as she walks, that's going to cause rub marks here on her legs and also at the front So as long as they're hanging down a little bit and they're not coming down too far, like down sort of where their hocks are, that would be obviously too loose that they could get their legs up and out of it. If they were hanging down really far, we just need them so that they're hanging nicely, not too tight, not too loose.